Hey readers, this week we are going to focus on using simple verb tenses. Before we can talk about the different tenses that a verb can have, we need to review what a verb is. So check it out and watch a short little video that reviews a verb.
A verb is a word, it's an action word. If you can do it, then you do it. If you do it, it's a verb. A verb is a word, it's an action word. If you can do it, then you do it. If you do it, it's a verb. Listen up close, here's what we'll do. I'll say a verb and you say it too. Now when we're playing, when you say it, I want you to do it too. Alright, now everybody, get ready. Because the first verb we're gonna do is clap. Here we go. Clap, 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 clap. A verb is a word, it's an action word. If you can do it, then you do it. If you do it, it's a verb. A verb is a word, it's an action word. If you can do it, then you do it. If you do it, it's a verb. Listen up close, here's what we'll do. I'll say a verb and you say it too. Now when we're playing, when you say it, I want you to do it too. Okay, the next verb we're gonna do is jump. Now remember, I want to hear you say jump and I want to see you jumping. Jump, 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 jump. Verb is a word, it's an action word. If you can do it, then you do it. If you do it, it's a verb. A verb is a word, it's an action word. If you can do it, then you do it. If you do it, it's a verb. Listen up close, here's what we'll do. I'll say a verb and you say it too. Now when we're playing, when you say it, I want you to do it too. Okay, my verbalicious friends. The last verb that we're gonna do is shake. Now I'm not talking about a milkshake. I wanna see those arms wiggling and those heads bopping. Shake, 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 shake. A verb is a word, it's an action word. If you can do it, then you do it. If you do it, it's a verb. A verb is a word, it's an action word. If you can do it, then you do it. If you do it, it's a verb.
Alright, so now that we reviewed what a verb is, it's something that we can do. You can see right here in front of you, I have 3 or 4 different verbs that you can do. You can walk, you can look, you can roam, or you can discover things, okay? Now, when we talk about the tenses of a verb, there are 3 tenses that you can have. You can have a past tense, which means that it's already happened. You've already done this verb. You can have a present tense, which means it's happening right now. Or you can have a future tense, which means that you plan on doing it sometime in the future. Okay? Now, when you have each of these tenses, there are certain things that you can add to the word or certain words that work with the word to help you show their tense. So, for example, if you take the word walk and you want to say that you've already done it, it's happened in the past, then you might say that you walked or I walked yesterday. So you would add an ED onto the word walk. Alright, so since you would add an ED, this is what the word would look like. Walked. Okay? If you wanted to make it present tense to show that you were doing it right now, then you would have to add the suffix ing and you would say I am walking. And that would tell someone that you were doing it right now. Now, to say that you plan on doing this in the future, you would add the word will. So it would say will walk. I will walk to my friend's house tomorrow. Notice in that sentence there, the word tomorrow also lets you know that it was in the future. Okay? So let's take the word look. If I wanted to make the word look past tense, how would I change the word? If you said you would add ed and you would make it looked, you would be correct. Okay? If I took the word look and wanted to say that I was doing it right now in the present tense, how would I change the word? If you said add ing to make it looking, you would also be correct. If I wanted to say that I plan on doing it in the future tense with the verb look, how would that sound? If you said will look, you will look for your dog tomorrow, then that would be correct. And we continue to go for roam and discover. So the past tense of roam would be roamed. Do you see the pattern of what we're adding every time? The present tense of roam would be roaming. The future tense of roam will be will roam. And then we move on to discover, and the past tense of discover is good. If you said discovered, you are right. The present tense of discover is, you said discovering, you are right. And then the future tense of discover would be will discover. Very good. Okay, so here are 4 examples of verbs that we have taken to show their past tense, their present tense, and their future tense. These are the 3 tenses that we use in our writing. Now, if you remember in the beginning of the video, I said that you would use these tenses in your writing. So here are some examples for us to work through together. You're going to write the correct tense of the verb in parentheses to complete each sentence. Okay, so if we look at number 1, we have to take this word in parentheses and decide, do we need to show its past tense, its present tense, or its future tense? Now let me give you a hint. When you read a sentence, to decide the tenses, you need to look at the other words in the sentence. So for example, if I look at number 1, it reads, the NASA space program blank in 1958. Well, I need to take the verb start, but I need to know, is this space program happening in the present, the past, or in the future? And I see a clue right here where it says in 1958. Okay? In 1958. Well, I know right now we are in 2017. So that tells me in 1958 is a clue that this is happening in the past. So I need to take the word start and make it past tense. So how do I make start past tense? I add an ed, of course, which would make the word started. So always make sure you go back and check your sentence that the word makes sense. The NASA space program started in 1958. Awesome. All right, let's go to number 2. I want you to read number 2 with me as a group. Remember to keep your voices on a whisper. All right, number 2. In 1961, NASA blank a capsule called Freedom 7. Do you see any words in this sentence that would help you decide if it was past, present, or future tense? If you say in 1961, that is correct. That shows me that it's happening in the past. So that means to take this word launch and make it past tense. What do I need to add, and what would the word be now? If you said to add an ed and make it launched, you are perfectly correct. And then go back and reread the sentence and make sure it makes sense. In 1961, NASA launched a capsule called Freedom 7. All right, number 3. Ready, set, let's read. John Glenn blank Earth in 1962. Are there any phrases or words in this sentence that would help you decide if it was past, present, or future tense? If you said in 1962, you would be correct. That shows me that it's happened in the past. So how do I make orbit past tense? If you said add ed and make it orbited. John Glenn orbited Earth in 1962. Perfect. All right, number 4. Ready, set, let's read. Today, astronauts blank on a space station. Do you see any words that would help you decide what tense to use? If you said today, You would be correct. Does today tell me if it's the past, the present, or the future? If you said present, you would be correct. And if you remember, we discussed how we can say the present by adding ing. But let's think. If I add ing to stay, today astronauts staying on a space station. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. You do not have to add ing to the verb stay. You can just leave it the way it is. Today, astronauts stay on a space station because this word today is helping you see that it's present tense. All right, last one for us to do together. Ready, set, let's read. Years from now, we will blank to other planets. Did you see any words or phrases that help you decide the tense? If you said years from now, you would be correct. What tense does that tell us we're using? Very good. We're using the future tense. And if you look right here, you will see that we have the word will already. So we know years from now we will travel. Since they already put will there, all we have to add is travel. Years from now we will travel to other planets. Okay, now it is time for you to work on your independent assignment. On the front, you have two sides. On the front of your independent page, you will have a spinner and a chart that shows you the three tenses. All right, your chart should look just like the one that I have up on the screen. The first thing you need to do is make sure you put your name, your number, and today's date on top of the paper. Once you have those three things, the directions right up here at the top, if you're following with me, say use a paper clip and an eraser for the spinner. We're going to use a paper clip and a pencil. When the paper clip lands on a verb tense, you're going to find a place to fill in the chart. You're going to play until all the spaces have been completed. So you're going to put your pencil right here in the middle with your paper clip, and you're going to use your paper clip to flick as a spinner. Then let's say you land on past tense. You're going to come over here and you can pick any of these boxes to fill in. So for example, I can see this will be will climb. So the verb is climb. To make it past tense, then I would have to add what to the end of it? Very good. So I'd put the word climbed here. C-L-I-M-B-E-D. All right, now let's say I spin again at the bottom and I land on future tense. Then I need to fill in any of these boxes with the future tense. So I know here says bit. So I'm going to come over here and I can put biting. And you're going to finish and keep spinning until your entire chart is filled in. Once you're done with this front chart, then you can flip it over and you have 4 questions to answer on the back, picking the best tense for each sentence. Remember, this is independent work, which means you should be working on this page by yourself since you've already watched the video and learned from it. Good luck and have fun with those verb tenses.